This is the hour of politics, so I need to practice my Ansony Sieh voice. Hello and welcome to the hour of politics on. I didn't do that impression very well, but ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the hour of politics. My name is Dennis Jai, and I dropped by on the hour of politics to talk to the host of the hour of politics, the guy that I call the political bulldog, Mr. Sieh. I'm in your house. Welcome to the hour of politics.
Thank you, and it's good to be home.
Good. And I really, you've been doing a fantastic job here in the hour of politics, asking all the tough questions. I get calls and they say, "Where you get that guy from? He's fiery." So I decided to stop by and first of all, appreciate what you are doing. You are doing a heck of a job. Thank you so much. I wouldn't be any prouder to have someone like you.
It's an honor, Dennis. All I'm doing is all because of your, mentorship and the support that we get from Liberians who follows the program. What I will say is I am nowhere near where I need to be yet. I know my skills are still rough. My delivery is still rough. I can only say that this is what I want to do. I will put in all the time that I can get to become better. Like I told you, Dennis, I want to become the best of Liberia in this business. And that's kind of standard that I've set for myself. When I look at where I want to go and where I am now, I am nowhere there here. I'm still hungry to be better.
And we will do our best so that you can get where you want to be, but we appreciate you. So let me start by saying, I mean, you do a good job. And what is your drive? What drive you to do what you do?
Then it is my thirst and my desire that I believe most Liberians do have to see a better country, Liberia, a better community, the Liberian community. We all live in Liberia. I, for one, I'm a village boy. I grew up with nothing, and I suffered a lot. I went through the war. I was in refugee camp, and I was lucky. I won the diversity visa program, and I jumped into America out of nowhere. And then I'm like, wow! So I can have electricity for 24 hours. Since I came, current has never to say, oh, current gone, no current today, never. And so when I look back, I say, but how come we don't have these things in our country? So if others can do it, that means we can do it. So I will fight for that. I will talk about that. I will challenge our leaders to do that. I will challenge all of Liberians. Maybe we're not taking our responsibilities serious enough. Maybe the ways we've been doing it, or those ways are not better ways. So I just want to see a better country, and I think every Liberian wants to see that better country, wants to see better leadership, where people can live a fulfilling life, where they can feel comfortable. And I'm glad that the things you listed today, electricity is part of that, and I just thought to use that example. So that is what I do. What I do, Dennis, I want to see a better Liberia.
Thank you so much. And I will try again. The first time I said, they say I didn't do a good job copying you. So I'm going to try this again. Thank you so very much. We want to welcome all viewers from across the globe. This is Focus on Liberia on the Hour of Politics. And as Ansony is the guy here who talk politics all the time, I decided to stop by so we go through some trending issues that happening in our country and what his take is on those issues. And because the man studied these things, he followed politics very, very well, especially things happening in Liberia. So here are some of the issues that I want to ask Mr. Sieh today. Number one, Minister Samuel Tue is on the electricity shortage. He was talking about that because at the ministerial complex, they have some ECOWAS people and there was no electricity. As we say in Liberia, current went. So because of that, he was asked and he said, well, we should be patient. Things will be better, especially during the rainy season. So that's an issue that we're going to talk about. Presidential hopeful Councillor Tiawon Gonglo. Sorry, the name is misspelled there. Tiawon Gonglo. he had a foot in his mouth a few days ago, and for which he had to apologize. So we're going to talk about that. Tiawan say Gonglo apologizes to the media for comments he made at a graduation program. Mr. Sieh will break that down and give me his take. Also, the NEC boss who were indicted for corruption has submitted a budget to the finance ministry, but why is she still on the job? Mr. Sieh is going to give me some clue as to why and what he thinks about this. Also, in Bond County, Representative Marvin Cole said all the government school students should stay home and welcome Minister McGill, who is going to that part of the country. Last but not the least, a government hospital we saw yesterday or the day before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the day before, it was gutted by fire. And I heard people in Buchanan saying, this is the only hospital we have here. Mr. Sieh, these are the issues that we're going to be going through. Again, we want to welcome our viewers from across the globe. Share the show and let's get Ansony's take on these very issues. First of all, you follow this issue. Let's start with Minister Tue. Minister Tue was talking about electricity, and he talks about the CLSG countries. He talked about, we should bear patient and all that. I want you to just let our viewers know, break down this story for me. What happened? Why was he saying that? Where was he? And what did he say?
Dennis, thank you. Some of our viewers are aware now because the issue of electricity in Liberia being a big problem and a huge challenge to the CDC government has been something that people have been talking about. We know that electricity has not been reliable in Liberia. This is something our government knows. The CDC government came to power, Dennis, from the very start, somewhere around 2018. That was one of the things they started making effort to see how they could provide reliable electricity to the Liberian people. But why are we talking about now? Mr. Tue was on ELBC, in which he was interviewed, and he talked about the government needs to make hard choices. The Electricity Corporation actually has been auctioning the current, if I can put it that way. So they will give the people of Nikrutan current sometime for 4 hours, and then the next day they will not get current. They will take it away and send it to Corwell. So they have been
rationing.
Yeah, they've been rationing, not auctioning. They've been rationing the current, as we call it in Liberia, or power in Liberia. And even with that, Dennis, that has not been reliable. All right. And so citizens have been frustrated. And of recent, we have the ECOWAS delegation in Liberia. The ECOWAS delegations in Liberia, and they're having a summit at the ministerial complex. While this program was going on, electricity went off. And according to the report, they actually had the generators on. And this is not the first time this thing is happening at the ministerial complex. From what we know, that's also been reported. At the ministerial complex, there are many agencies of government or ministries of government. All of them have their individual generators because the LEC that is responsible to provide electricity in the country has not been reliable at all. So during this event, the electricity went off. And some of the dignitaries, according to a report from Front Page Africa, were stuck in the elevator. They had to cry for the technician to come to find a way to get them out. So the event that's supposed to be held there were more than cancer. And after they tried to settle it a little bit, they tried to call some of the dignitary back. They said, no, we are not coming back. Maybe we should go to the Memorial City Corporation, the Memorial City Hall. So Dennis, this is how serious the issue of electricity has been in Liberia. It's a problem that's been around for a long time. And so Mr. Tue, when he had this opportunity to talk about this, he started talking about, well, the hydro is not reliable now because we are not in the rainy season. So the St. Paul River current is low. And so the hydro is not generating sufficient, power, because of the river being low on current, and so they can't generate enough power. So maybe somewhere around the rainy season, things will get better. And then the other option they had, to provide electricity is what we know to be the West African power pool.
Yeah.
That is something that the government has started sometime back. I know Liberia is getting current in Nimba and also in Maryland counties. But the government of Liberia, for some reason, said that the LEC that is responsible to make the payment for the West African power pool, which is the current that is being brought into Liberia and being supplied in those counties, they have not been able to make payments. So the Liberian government owes a little over $9 million to the West African power pool. So that is the issue.
Yeah. And and we'll keep talking about the West African Power Pool. From what I read, they have this their regional group. They call
Mhm,
that the Sieh, that is Cote d'Ivoire LSG countries, right? So there is
mhm,
this sub-regional block that's
mhm,
supposed to supply power to those countries. That's Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, and Ivory Coast. So
mhm,
that's the group that Liberia is owing. And
mhm,
so what the minister was saying, hey, we have two options. We can either, because we Liberia already owe 9 million, so we can pay this 9 million to the powers for the to Ivory Coast and get this power.
mhm,
But why would we be wasting money if in 2 months the rainy season is here and
mhm,
we have power? And he said then we'll be to our full capacity.
mhm.
The minister also said in that interview that hey, we have to make tough choices. So when I read that, I said, okay, let me see what the tough choices are. And all through what I read, I didn't see the tough choices whether you pay your debt or you wait for the rain or for God to supply you water. I was little taken aback that there was nothing in that the Liberian government had to even think about. It's like you just have to supply power. If you can, you can't. But to make it look like the government is doing something and these hard choices, okay, be patient. Let's go through the struggle. And when time comes, when the rain comes, what if the rain doesn't come? And Mr. Sieh, what I was thinking about was when I read, I said, but how many times have we not had rainy season in Liberia? And when has the LEC ever been to its full capacity to give us power? What's going on here with this with Minister Tua? Is he just talking for talking sake or he really mean business here?
So, but then there's Mr. Tour and the CDC government knew that with this West African power pool, electricity will be much more reliable as it is in the Ivory Coast, right?
Yeah.
And that is why when they took over, they engaged it. They signed a memorandum of understanding to have brought that particular power
Yeah.
into Liberia.
That was
And
2018.
yes, sometime 2018 it was reported. I think about 2019 or so there were when they signed the memorandum of understanding. So these were people who got to know then is that the most reliable way to bring current or to supply electricity in the country would be through this West African power pool. So they started that effort. But for Mr. Twe in 2022, now to be telling us that they will make high choices, I really don't understand. So the most reliable electricity, you could not pay your bill, despite you talking about raising record-breaking revenue. And to break some numbers down for our people to understand, according to Mr. Twe, Dennis, they have to pay $10.4 million. All right, that is the amount they need to pay. Sorry, somebody is bothering me here. They have to pay $10.4 million, which means, according to him, that to pay that money that is needed right now, he said they have to also pay 3.6 million a month because
Yeah.
they've been given a length of time to pay the money back. You understand? So Mr. Twe has to decide whether or not they want to provide the Liberian people with reliable electricity. I like the way you put it. You want to rely on God. Why if the rain does not come soon enough? Then we'll not get reliable electricity. The fact is that They owe the Ivorian government, they need to pay that money. That particular current is the most reliable one. They need to pay that money and make sure they provide current to our people. They shouldn't start, they should stop giving excuses, Dennis. This is
And
all excuses.
he talked about, hey, can we pay this amount? Well, if people are getting current or they're getting power, there should be a way to collect revenue from that. So I was looking for whether he was able to make any projection to say, okay, if we supply current electricity coming from this point and they're supplying this number of household or businesses, this is they have to pay their bills.
Yeah.
So it is not like you are getting money out of your pocket that is you're going to pay and then there is no way to recoup that. So why don't people pay their electricity bills and from that you are able to pay back Cote d'Ivoire? Is that not in his calculation? And he said the reason why they can pay that also is because it's not part of the budget. Hello, you signed this agreement. You signed this agreement 3 years ago, and you know you're supposed to pay your bill. Mr. Sieh, you look at this budget a whole lot. Maybe when we take some money from McGill stationary money, we can pay some of that.
Then we can pay some, right? We can do that because, like he said, it's $3.6 million they have to pay every month. And in fact, the deal, according to him, that they work out, they will be paying like $555,000 over a period for them to pay what they owe, and then they will be back on track. But they have to pay, I think, $10.6 million right now. So the government is telling us it cannot raise $10.6 million right now. Mr. Twe is saying that's a hard choice for the government to make. So to save that money and the Liberian people continue to not have electricity, he would rather wait for the rainy season.
I don't know if people really understand, if the minister or people in authority really understand the power of energy, electricity. I don't think so, because you need power for companies, for individuals, for people to do business. So I don't think people really grab that understanding that what energy can do and the importance of it. That even without roads, I'm not saying roads are bad, but if you have power, you can do a whole lot, and they don't seem to understand that.
Not at all.
Let's go to the second issue here. Councillor Sieh Gonglo, who's a presidential hopeful, was in Ganta or Gompa City at a graduation ceremony. I think their school is Heritage Foundation, Heritage School. And what happened was the junior high student delivered a brilliant speech introducing Councillor Gonglo. And when Councillor Gonglo heard that, decided to, he was moved. Yeah. And he made a comment that got him in trouble. Mr. Sieh, what was that?
Dennis, you're right. It's Gompa in Nimba County. He was at this school called Heritage Impact Junior High School. And it was a graduation ceremony that he was in attendance of. And he was introduced by the female student who showed excellence or brilliance in introducing Councillor Tiawon Gonglo as she read. And Tiawon was like, wow, in Nimba County, in Liberia in the day and age, somebody in junior high school can read with their brilliance, and he couldn't help to just, shower praises on this young lady or young girl who demonstrated, excellent reading skills. And he started to contrast that with broadcast journalists in Liberia, that people who read news on air or on the radio, the girl can do a much better job. In fact, he went further by saying these broadcast journalists should start taking some lectures at the Heritage Impact School, because if the school can teach this girl and she's able to read with this level of excellence, then I think it's time for broadcast journalists to go to that school to get some lectures there so that they can improve their reading skills. So that was Tiawon making the point that broadcast journalists, you are muted, Dennis.
That did not go down well with the media.
that I mean, how in any way where it go down well with the media, even if it is true, you don't want to use that opportunity to bash the media, to downplay the media, to tell the media that no, you are so bad, this little girl can do a much better job than you are doing. There's a much better way, he could have communicated with the media. There's a much better way to criticize the media. We deserve criticism. We have to be criticized to do better. We are not perfect, but that was unwarranted at all. And so for Tiawong, who is just coming in the presidential race, to have gone that route, he himself in no time realized that he erred big time. And so on Tuesday of this week, when he came to Monrovia, he went to the offices of the press union of Liberia, where he apologized immediately and started recounting his relationship with the press union and how he has been standing with them, providing some, pro bono legal services for them. He regretted that so greatly, and he wasted no time to apologize. That was a huge mistake on his part. But for me being a man of the truth, that is true. Those of us who are in this business, we have to try hard to improve ourselves, because we're not only representing ourselves, we are representing Liberia. If anybody listening to somebody who is in the media space and is a Liberian, if your performance is poor, it reflects on our country. And so that is the truth, but that was not the right place for that. And Tiawong Gonglo was wrong. And I'm glad that he apologized.
So did he? I know he was contrite. Did he recant those words?
Well, from what being reported, they didn't say that. The news report said he apologized, and he went down by saying, "This is I've been standing with the media. I've done this for the media." But he did not recount the words from what being reported. Maybe he did, and the front page Africa probably didn't see the need to share that. So I can't confirm that.
Many are looking at Councillor Gonglo as the X factor, especially after the disintegration of the CPP, which is now being hosted at the Temple of Justice. Somebody said that's their new apartment.
Yeah.
So people were looking at that. Will this comment cost him? Will he pay?
So this will not cost Tiawong anything. It will not cost him anything, and that's what I believe, because the group of people that he criticized, right? The media, to my understanding, much more level-headed. The media also knows that it is weak, and so it deserves criticism. This is the media that criticizes almost anything or all political leaders. So they too are not, and they should be criticized, to put it lightly. So I don't think it will cost Tiawong anything. And the main fact that he did the right thing, I think that was why he needed to do. It's not going to cost him anything. But on the other hand, though, Dennis, you want to avoid this kind of explanation. You want to avoid that, because some media institution might not want to forgive you for this, and you don't want to be the one answering question on your mistakes. You want to be answering questions on things that are positive
on your campaign.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be recalled that former defense minister, the late great D. Allison, who referred to the press as Baple. Baple, we all know, is the cheapest fish on the market. Because press were being, people were buying them, people were paying what many call cattle journalism. So he referred to them that they were so cheap that, you can just pay them and they carry whatever story. And that story really came up when Great D was in court, and people say, oh, he was the one who said Baple. So to to what you said, maybe it may not cost him now, but he doesn't want to be looking over his shoulder every time he's speaking. Right. And this will come up when he errs again. People will refer to that, and he doesn't want to be doing that. He wants to be concentrating on his campaign, especially when many are looking at him as the X factor during this disintegration of what used to be the collaborating political party. Somebody said they are now collaborated political party because they are no longer collaborating. That takes us to our next topic here, the NEC bus. The NEC bus, I mean, In Liberia, that's why sometimes when something come out, they say, "Oh, just leave it." You know, that's Coca-Cola morale. In other words, it's going to just pop up and then it goes away. She was indicted, but she's
Yes.
still on the job. What happened to this story? Let's start with the story. Where is the story about how
Well,
indictment?
Dennis, that is the biggest question, and that is the right question to ask. What happened to her indictment? We should also point out, where did that indictment come from? Dennis, there are two things that came from that institution. The LACC, the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, did not only indict her, the institution also
Yeah,
recommended
recommended. Yep,
dismissal.
yep.
And that recommendation was sent to the president that you should dismiss this woman because of what she's done. She was not the only one. The procurement officer at NEC was also recommended for dismissal. Why the president did not act on those recommendations or the recommendation, we don't know. But the story is that the NEC boss, to her full knowledge, rented thermometers,
Yeah,
and she rented these things from a company that having to be owned and operated by her brothers, not one brother, but by her brothers. So she was in full knowledge that those items were rented and the company was owned by her brothers. The amount we're talking about here, that 180,000
yeah.
for those pieces, I believe they were about 20 pieces or less of them. Now, when you look at the price of one of those thermometers online, like Amazon, the unit price was far more less than the total amount that NEC has paid. And there was no bidding process. She argued that there was a bidding process, but according to reports, there were no any competitive bidding process whatsoever. And the contract was awarded to her brother's company. So when the investigation was done by the LACC indicted her of money laundering and then also conflict of interest, and that she was in violation not only of the LACC laws, but also what you call the Code of Ethics, Code of Conduct law of Liberia. So those were the two laws that she violated. And so, and according to the LACC, that she admitted that the act was done, that the contract was given to a company owned by her brothers when she's not supposed to do it.
Right.
But then she came and denied that, and she started fighting for her job. And many people in the CDC wanted to see her out, but I don't know what happened. The story just died a natural death. And now this is the embattled chair of the National Election Commission who had just submitted a budget of $1.9 million for the Lofa County or vacant seat. Dennis, this is Liberia. The story came, it was big, and people felt that something was going to happen, that the president was going to follow through. But it died a natural death. She stayed on the job, and now she's submitting budget. And talking about the budget, Samuel 12 said that no, the $1.9 million is way too much for just one vacancy. No, I can't do it. You have to call it down. So Samuel 12 is dictating that it need to be cut down.
I wonder we have that budget. We have that budget that was submitted, whether there is a copy anywhere, because I really want to see what is, what are the line items in that budget. Very curious.
And then you are right. It's something to ask, right? You think you will see it. I'm sure it should be around, because if you submit a budget in the amount of $1.9 million, that budget should be able to spare out everything from employees' pay, and materials that will be used and all of that. It should be there. And this is public information. You would think that they will put it out there for the public to see, or sometimes they will tell you, say, well, if you, the media, want it, you should ask for it, and then we would be able to give it to you. So that's what it is.
And those of us who who grew up in the 80s, we heard
Mhm,
the NDC boss, Davietta Brown, on the
mhm,
news,
mhm,
and then her brother, Martin Number Brown. I
mhm,
mean, he was just an ace radio guy, man.
mhm,
He had the MB production. So people like that, those of us growing up and listening to them, hold them at very high esteem. So
mhm.
really, I was disappointed. I was, disappointed and hurt that she, of all persons, would do this because she's not. I'm not saying people adults should not do this kind of thing, but I expected a little bit more from her, and I'm disappointed. Deviato, if you're listening,
Yeah, then is that is what it is. The 20 pieces of facial recognition thermometers, according to the NEG, they were renting, and then it's not that they were buying it, right?
yeah,
They were renting it, and they were renting it for $9,166 per piece.
yeah,
When Dennis, the cost of buying one piece is around 1,500, which is 1,500. So why will you rent something that is 1,500 for $9,166? Why will you make that kind of decision? Dennis, how
yeah.
will you describe such a decision? And she is aware of the code of conduct law. Her brother is the owner of the company. And you giving a contract not to even buy, but to what? To rent. So that is why she was charged for money laundering, and, and all that. Dennis, that
And
is Liberia.
right, but as you said, this is your brother. You should know better.
Mhm.
We Is it safe to assume that this problem might not be the first time? Because
Dennis, Dennis, this that is a reasonable assumption to make.
yeah,
If this is being done, probably it has been done before. And another thing I'm gonna point out concerning this story is the PPCC.
right.
At
That's
some
the
point, the
Public Procurement
PPCC
Concession Commission.
Commission, the PPCC, was asked as to whether they were in the know
Mm-mm.
of this particular bidding process. And the PPCC said, no,
We don't part of it.
we have no knowledge, of this, nothing like that happened. So you see, not only did she violate the law creating the LACC, she also violated the law, creating the PPCC and also the code of conduct. So she was, a lot of trouble. That was poor judgment on her part, but she's a free woman and she's still on the job despite being indicted.
Right.
I don't
And
know if that case ever went to court. At some point, then it's good to say that she went to court, and I believe she secured a bond from her lawyers, and that
right,
was the last thing we heard. If anything, then we don't know. But I mean, she went to court briefly. She
right.
secured a bond and she walked away, and that was the last thing that I heard concerning this story.
And the least the president can do is to fire her or at least suspend, even if we are not looking at the court side of it.
Mhm.
And the president is not doing anything about it.
The president is not doing anything about it, and then is focus on Liberia. We don't tread on G's and fries, but there have been some news about G's and fries along the line that we're not going to go into because
Yeah,
that is not
let
what we
us not
do.
go into G's and fries.
Yeah, this is not a G's platform.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are just joining us, this is Focus on Liberia Hour of Politics. I am opportune to switch seats with the host of Hour of Politics, Mr. Ansony Sieh, and interview him. I tried my level best to impersonate, but it didn't work, so I'm going to go on to be myself. Mr. Sieh, another story that broke is in Graham, in Bond County,
Mhm.
where President, oh, sorry, I don't mean de facto president, Presidential Affairs Minister Nathaniel Fala Mangill. I think he's been doing some work there, giving scholarship to high school students and all the 9 yards. He's being called to be a guest speaker at one of the public schools. And so when he was going, guess what? The representative said, all of you should stay home. No school go and welcome Minister McGill because of what the mayor is doing here. That was at Buffet High. Buffet
Mhm.
High is a main government institution right there in Bond County. I have a lot of friends who graduated from there. Very good school. Uh, so the issue is Reverend Mountain Cole orders government-run schools in Bonn closed to enable students welcome Minister McGill to bank. I read this story on front page Africa. Two things stuck, jump out. I mean, representative order school closed. I mean, what's the connection between a representative and public schools? Ordering them closed. And then the second thing is because you guys have to come and welcome Minister McGill. I too in junior high, all the way behind God's back, when these people were coming to Dudwick in my hometown, we lined up the routes to welcome them. So this is not something that but this came from the school authority who were not being. I don't believe that Mr. Carter or Mr. Kofa, a principal at that time, was being told by any representative telling him to close the school. But yes, they were coming to our school, so we got out to welcome them. In this case, Minister McGill is going to Beaufort High. The representative is saying all other public schools close and come to Beaufort High, line the street, and welcome the minister. What's going on in our country here?
Dennis, you know, this is one of those stories that you think will never happen in our country. Thanks so much for giving a little historical flavor to it. Like you who saw school authorities making decisions because, a significant person in political office is coming to either your town or your village, will decide that school be closed and that students will line up the street to welcome any such political person. That is not new. For some of us who from Grand Crew and the Leeward counties, we saw that. I remember I was a baby then. Samuel Doe went to Sasstown and schools were closed. It was an excitement for us, as kids at this time to see the president coming. And it was like when then Twanwell at some point was senator for Grand Crew County. Whenever Twanwell was going to Sasstown, his hometown, by the way, then his school will be closed. We'll go to the airport to welcome him. I mean, fast forward in the 21st century, in the day and age, this is what we want to continue doing. How has that helped us in any way? Somebody might argue, well, that is the culture. But fast forward to the story, Dennis. How can a lawmaker who is in another branch of government is making decision in another branch of government, this time education?
Yeah.
I don't think the lawmaker has that authority to issue orders for school to be closed. That is not his responsibility. He's in complete error. This is a man who is represented by his people and trying to be sycophantic to win favor from the executive branch of government. Then this is what it is. The man who was elected by his people wants favor from the executive mansion. Why? You are elected by your people.
And Mr. Sieh, let me stop you there. And that's why this whole concept of election versus appointment, if the people lack integrity, if people are corrupt, if people are sell out, it doesn't matter whether you appoint them or you elect them. Because this man was elected by the people. Okay, now he wants favor from someone who has no authority to fire him.
No.
So whether you are elected or you are appointed, if you are corrupt, it doesn't make a difference. If you lack morals, if you are sellout, you continue to be sellout. This representative, you have no business to buy favor from this guy, and you're doing it anyway. Go ahead, sir.
And McGill runs the government. McGill is in very good books with President Weah. He is the closest to Weah, we are told. And this is a representative who believes that if he is to succeed as the elected representative of the people, the man who does not have any power to fire him, he has to bow down to him in some forms. And I I don't know how to explain it other than to say, Dennis, this representative has no right or has got no right to order a school closed because Presidential Affairs Minister Matania Magay is visiting the school. That decision should be made by the school authority and not the representative. I think he
And,
was, go ahead.
and worse than that, it's not only Beaufort High. If Beaufort High alone was closed to welcome the minister because they're having
Mhm.
graduation, it's understandable. But he's saying all other public schools come and see the minister. And then I think they asked, they asked his chief of staff, and they said,
Mhm.
well, if the student miss one day, it's not going to hurt. This man is doing so much. I know we discussed this whole issue of a presidential affairs minister issuing scholarship.
Mhm.
And so we knew very well that this was going to be, something for the government to buy votes or win favor because
Mhm.
elections coming.
Mhm.
Now we see that they are telling students, close your school and come and welcome the minister. It is not far-fetched to believe that they may say, hey, this is the man who did XYZ. That's the one you have to vote for. And I see where all this is going. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching us and you want to join the conversation, please call the number on your screen, 605-313-6004. The code is 791-403#. For some, there's a teleconference number, and for some, they will say charge you 1 cent per minute. Because of this, some stay away from this discussion because they don't want to pay 1 cent per minute. Please, if you want to really participate, sign up for that. Send us your bill for 1 cent per minute. The longest you're going to be on a call will be 20 minutes, let's say at most.
Yeah.
So send us that bill and we'll send you your 20 cents because we want you to be a part of the discussion. So if you cannot join because of 1 cent per minute, please join and send us your bill and we will cash up you your 20 cents. One more issue here before we bring in our callers, Mr. Sieh.
Mhm.
And this issue has to do, it's sad as I watched this and I saw that fire. There's a hospital in Grand Bassa County. They said there was a investigation is going on now. There was an electrical fault, and as a result, the place was gutted by fire. Sad, sad, sad. And everything in Liberia most of the time is like something you have to go there and see. I saw people gathering. I didn't see fire truck. They were trying to get the fire service and all that. From the time I was watching, that did not happen. This is a sad story in Buchanan. What did you hear about this story?
Then as I was at work and had a little space and went on Facebook, and then I ran into the live video. And as I watched, the journalist or the reporter or whoever was doing that live there said, "Oh, this is a hospital here that has got fire." And I heard that is, a major hospital and probably the only one in that particular area that was inflamed. And that's what I heard. And I also saw that it was reported that yes, the hospital got a fire, and that's all I know, and nothing more than that. So talking about that, Dennis, you just said that they said they were going to launch an investigation to find out what started the fire. Whatever the cause is, Dennis, this is a hospital that residents in that area had depend on. I don't know whether that hospitals were equipped in any way, but that is all that they had. And now I can say it's gone. I mean, the consequences, I can imagine what's going to be happening to these people. They will not have any referral hospital. I don't know why we continue to say referral hospital, because some of these hospitals are not referral hospital. Then it's,
Mm.
if you come to think about it, you being in the technology side of healthcare, so you will know what I'm talking about. So that what I know, I mean, it's just a sad story for those residents in that area, that the only place they had to go to get maybe telemedicine for data to tell them something is no more.
Talking about sad story, yesterday too, we read from Facebook
Mhm.
that the Honorable Julius Barron, who was right here on Focus on Libra on January 6th, has passed away. This is very, very sad. I got the story on Facebook. At, we've not been able to independently verify this story, but that's what we heard, and it's very, very sad indeed. As you can see, this was Honorable Julius F. Barron when he was hosted on Tough Talking Thursday. And we are very, very sorry. And Mr. Sieh, you know Julius personally.
Yes, Julius, I want to say that, and I don't want to say that, but he and I were in meetings, and I talked to him on the phone, especially when he appeared on Focus on Liberia prior to that show. I know you have assigned me to reach out to him, so I reached out to him, and we discussed. And even after the show, he called me and we talked. I know Julius. He was a representative for District Number 10 in Monserrado County. I believe he got elected on the CDC ticket and he wanted to do so again, but he could not get the CDC blessing. And so he decided to go independent and he was not successful. And he came to the United States to further his education. And when we last spoke, he said, I'm trying to better myself. I hope to go by again to see how I can continue to contribute to my country. So this is a young man who still wanted to serve his country, Liberia. And according to the report, that was a tragic accident. According to the report, he complained of some issues with his health. And so they said he was on the phone with this friend, according to the report we read, that, hey, so a friend told him, well, Judas, if that's the case, do not take yourself to the hospital. Either you call the ambulance or call a friend to take you there. And according to the story, he was on the phone and driving, said, no, I have to get to the hospital now. So they are saying that apparently he may have collapsed while he was driving because of the illness he was experiencing. Whatever that was, the fact is there was an accident, and the accident was confirmed by the police in Philadelphia, and that Julius died. The accident, according to the report, happened somewhere around 5:30 in the morning, and he was pronounced dead somewhere around 6 a.m. This is a sad story, very sad indeed. I saw a Facebook post from a person who was close to him called Franklin Wilson. Yeah. Franklin Weiser is his friend. Franklin Weiser posted about that, and Franklin Weiser confirmed, because Franklin Weiser is somebody who meets him, if not on a weekly basis, they always get together to lecture. So for Franklin to have confirmed that through his Facebook page, there's no reason. Also looking at the police reports and news report, he's dead, he's noble, and it's just sad that we have to take leave of this young man, has to take leave of us.
Am I getting you? I
think we'll get more into the details. Let me welcome Mr. Mohammed Sharif. He's our political analyst. Mr. Sharif.
To most of the people I observed for the period of time, look, yeah. Can you imagine somebody when you have got? I went to a program, sold myself, sold my platform, did every other thing. And after in conclusion, you know what I heard? They said, okay, everybody will feel that he's so doing, okay, quote unquote, he's so doing, you know the he's so doing of me?
No.
Or attempting, look, girl, what is on the table for us?
You are muted, Dennis.
That was Honorable Julius Barron when he appeared here on Focus on Liberia Tough Talking Thursday on January 6, 2002. Our hearts go out to the family, and we want to say rest in peace, brother. And you went so soon, but there's nothing we can do but to say to the family, have our sympathy. If it was in our power, we say still be here, continue to better yourself, and go back to your country and serve your people. That's not the case. We say sorry. And as he said on the show, what happened was at a time when he was going for his second term, CDC decided to feed another candidate, and so he had to go independent, and he lost to Honorable Yeke Koluba. At this time, Mr. Sieh, there are a lot of people, they like to see you in the hot seat. So there are people who have already in the queue to talk to you. So
Okay.
the first person here is let me go by the order. Is Elvis. Elvis, you are live. Welcome to Focus on Liberia. Where are you calling from?
Thank you so much, Mr. John. I'm calling from Minnesota. Thank you
Welcome.
again. Before I get to my point, I just want to give some credit to Mr. Sieh. Like I said in my comments, he has made a lot of improvements over the years, and I think, his passion has really led him to become one of the, the premier figures on your platform, and a lot of people now shows respect for his passion for politics, and I think that's a great thing. And Mr. Sieh, I just want to encourage you to continue to improve yourself. Continue to do more research on the topics that you discuss, and I think you'll continue to grow on this platform. To get to my main point, I just want to talk about this whole thing with President Weah, for example. The fish rots from the head down, and I must say something that might be a bit controversial, but not really. I'm a Southeasterner, and I'm married to a Southeastern woman, a Crew woman specifically.
Okay.
And I know the Crew people, although stereotypes are not always right, it's not always untrue, but it's just incomplete.
Yeah.
Mr. Weah being a Crew man from Sasstown, we know who the Crew people are. They are no nonsense people. So being the color leader that he is, a feckless, a toothless bulldog who is not effective, shows no authority, it's very, very disappointing to me. Being myself from the Southeast and being someone who is married to a Crew person, it seemed like he's forgotten all the things that make him a crewman. He's a weak president, and it's strange to see a Crew person who is a weak man, especially someone who is a very powerful, a soccer player, someone who has the figure, who had the mentality, a strong mentality to do what he did in the world of football. To be such a weak leader, I mean, for me, it's something I can't really fathom. I was with him in the beginning of his presidency, but now he's become something of a shadow of himself, of who he should be. Thank you again for taking my call, Mr. Jai. I just want to make those quick comments.
Thank you so much, Elvis. Let me get another caller here, and that will be Mr. Kesali Double.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jai. And thanks to Brother Ansony and students discussing the issue.
Thank you.
And let me join the also Liberia team to also express my condolences to the bereaved family of Julius Barrett. I knew the brother way back in Balance Estate, but then we were growing up with kids. I knew almost most of his family members. On the issue with Liberia, especially on the issue that have to do with corruption. Mr. John Ansony, the CDC government will not fight corruption in no way possible. This government was built on corruption. This government took power from the very onset. We saw how corrupt they were. Government is fighting corruption selectively, as you can see. So, they are just trying to push names up there so that tomorrow they can say, we brought this person to court and we brought this person to court and the court did not find them guilty, so it's not our fault. Government don't feel to fight corruption. When it comes to corruption fighting, we can just leave it. The government has failed in almost everything, not just corruption, insecurity, bad governance, everything the government has failed. So it's just a matter of time for all the young devils to replace them with a better alternative. I'll be able to care like broke for. That's just my point.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let me get our last caller here, and that will be Mr. Aliyu Samba Kamara. Aliyu, you are live.
Thank you so much. I don't know where to start. The invoice that you guys are asking for, if I were to submit mine today, it would be more than the 20 cents you're talking about, because I have a T-Mobile phone, and that's exactly what it says to me. The number you are calling is outside of your, each minute.
Are you still in Liberia?
Yeah?
Are you still in Liberia?
No, I'm here.
Okay.
I came on Wednesday.
Yeah, of course. Send us your bill when you're done. Go ahead.
Yeah, I came here.
But it got to be accompanied by receipts now. You can just make up anything just like NEC budget.
Yeah, but my man, you guys are doing such a wonderful job. I just wonder why you're so delinquent in making your presence felt in Liberia. It's appalling. I was in Liberia. I offered my services free of charge. I would have used my gas, use my driver, go to different places. I talked to you, Dennis Jai, and you never call me back. That shows me that you guys are not serious to make significant impact in the country. If you just want to be on social media, then that's fine by me. But you guys made some very good points, especially the LEC. I lost weight. If I stay my bro 1 month, I lost at least 30 pounds thanks to LEC, because I sweat at night, at daytime. The only time I ever enjoy air conditioning is when I was in my car. When I got home, let me tell you, LEC are great people. They go too clever. LEC, right now they're just waiting. They can just sit down and wait until it rains. When it rains, they get your leg. When it not rain, that is no innovation, no ingenuity, no improvising. The guy, they're not doing nothing. They're just waiting for the rain to fall. That's the other thing that explains where that's exactly what's going on. Practically, he did not tell you anything based on intellectualism. He did not tell you anything out of the blues. He was telling you exactly what's happening. They have no clue. They're just sitting there waiting for it to rain. So what they do is they will get a community live for 3 hours, and they will cut the other community up, and then they will get out of the community live for 3 hours, and they will cut the other community up, just like that. I think for the 1 month I saved Liberia, I had constant current for a whole day, for maybe twice for a month. Okay? So Liberia is in shambles. Liberia, look, let me tell you something.
You can conclude now, right?
You can hear me?
Yeah, I say 30 more seconds, sir.
Okay, let me just say this before. All of us, including Mohammed Sharia, political analyst, he makes me laugh. You need to forget about all that Syria and alcohol business. Everybody got to galvanize behind the opposition. I'm telling you, CDC, you can get CDC 18 years more. CDC cannot improve. They can only digress because it seems that they have no will to go forward. I beg you, I don't care whoever your support. It's time for the entire Liberian citizenry to do whatever it can to get CDC out of power. I'm telling you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Let me get Telvina Cole. Telvina, you're live.
Good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are. Excellent show there. I wanted to speak briefly to the students, the one you guys were talking about in ball counting. Hopefully, I mean, it is absolutely wrong. This representative, that's not his place. Talking about segregation or duty, that's just a stretch. And then just not respecting education. So I'm hoping that the Ministry of Education will issue a statement condemning the action and the justice stretch of and the misuse of Representative Cole's power, as well as McGill.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. And speaking about that, Tavina, Martin Webber Brown said, Ansony, that's how these guys run the government. If a representative can order public school closed abruptly, it is troubling. Representative Marvin Cole is becoming the rooster in Bond County because of his proximity with the executive mansion. It is so sad.
Yeah, and it's so sad. So, but even the VP Taylor, Taylor too. So
yeah,
that's why he's misbehaving. Yeah. Anyway,
thank you, Tabina.
You're welcome.
Mr. Sieh, what's your take on the callers? And then starting with Aliyu said we're not serious.
Aliyu said we're not serious, and we take his criticism, but we are serious people. If we were not serious, we will not be here every week, sometimes 6 times, sometimes 7 times. There are times like Sundays, for the most part, sometimes we have 3, sometimes 3 shows at most on most Sundays. And so we are serious. We recognize that we have to be in Liberia, and we will keep trying to get to Liberia. He's just from Liberia. He knows the resources that are required to be in Liberia to run a media institution. You're not going to get to Liberia and start using RAC. You need money. We are self-funded. Focus on Liberia is self-funded. All you see here, is coming from us, and just few individuals. We don't even ask who contribute, and that is not enough to just jump into Liberia. So Aliyu, we take your criticism. We understand it to mean that you want to see us in Liberia, and You can't just comprehend that we do a better job and we're not in Liberia. When we are the right people to be in Liberia, we have others in Liberia doing what they can. Why are we not there? We understand that. I'm not sure you actually meant to say we are unserious people, because you know we are serious here. The colors and even comments who are complimenting me, I want to say to them, I appreciate your comment, and and appreciating what I do. I continue to say every mistake I've made on the platform, whether pronouncing a word so poorly, or not reading something poorly, not presenting better, I go back and I watch everything. And sometimes I get disappointed about why are these people not telling me my mistakes, right? So I will get there. I will get there. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing it for Liberia. I want Liberia to be proud of one of their own, as a presenter. That's how I see it. So criticize me. I'm going to grow and I'm going to get better. And Focus on Liberia, going to stick around. We will always try to bring you the truth. We will not sensationalize anything. We will dig deeper and bring you nothing the truth. And we made mistake. We will also apologize that we made a mistake, because we are humans.
Let's read a few comments here and then we call it a day. This one from Moniga. Everyone knows the limitation of this administration. He will be easily re-elected 2023 thanks to the hard work of the opposition fighting among themselves. Leo is not comical. African diaspora students from Liberia are being treated like dogs in Ukraine. Protocols of Elders of Zion. What is Judge we are going to do about this? And the country as a whole, we need to do something. Tokpakwe, Ansony Representative Cole was a VP Taylor Stoosh, and he and Bond County Superintendent turned on Hall for McGill. Now he wants to be in good book with CDC for re-election in 2023. There is a Francis Mensah, my good friend in Europe, said, Dennis, you and your team on FOL need to have a discussion on the issuance of positive COVID results given to travelers leaving Liberia. The rate of issuances is very alarming and needs to be addressed. And then there is a response there from Yani San, believe Yeni San being to Liberia, said, when you pay small thing, then your results turn negative. No real COVID in Liberia yet because the person doing the fake test would know. Sad. Monica say elected officials and appointed officials are different. Don't lie to the people, sir. Okay, because when I say when you are corrupt, whether appointed or elected, that's the same thing, and that's what he's referring to. So you missed the mark, man. Moses, very interesting. Ansony, Sieh, does the LACC have power to recommend dismissal? And should the president take action based on their recommendation? Shouldn't they go through the Ministry of Justice? Tavina said, it looks like the NDC boss prepared the budget long time ago. It's unreasonable and it came out too quickly. Tavina is an auditor, so you should listen when she says stuff like that. Medco Deco, listening to the likes of Kev Hassan, Standard Witherspoon on Spoon Talk, and so many of them in and out of Liberia prove the statement to be truthful and needs no apology. So he's talking about Tiawan statement, and want to take a jab at our colleagues there at Spoon Talk. Don't get us in trouble, my man. Let me read this last one, and Mr. Sieh, you can comment, and then we can have. I'm confused. During this stimulus pack, the government told us that the government is owing LEC the stimulus pack, the LEC $9 million. But now the Minister of Finance is now telling us that LEC is owing Liberia $25 million. This number 25 years always coming up. Why was 25 million, 25 billion? Something is always 25.
And that is a good comment, right? When that stimulus package came, one of the things that were in the stimulus package were free electricity, free water, right? And at some point, the CDC government was boasting about paying LEC bill that they didn't owe anything, that LEC did not even owe a dime. Apparently, they were talking about why the government owe LEC and not what LEC owe other institutions like, the West African power pool that we're talking about. So a lot of confusion there.
All right. The last one here, Elvis Morrissey. I agree with Mr. Kamara. FOL should expand into Liberia. Do a fundraiser and we'll contribute to that cause. I can guarantee you within the next couple of months, we're going to reach out to you, to all of you, to help expand. We are working on this very, very seriously. It's just that, as our people say, no matter how tall you are, you still can see tomorrow.
Yeah. So Dennis, thanks so much for giving this opportunity to me to be able to chat with our people by bringing some stories up. I mean, it is a great opportunity to talk to our people and also giving them the opportunity. This is focused on Liberia, where we educate, we elevate, and we promote all things Liberia. We hear your calls, we hear your suggestion that we should be in Liberia. We will be in Liberia. We are doing it thoroughly. Many of you might be aware of what is associated with the line of work. It requires planning. And so we are doing all we can to get in Liberia. We will be excited to be in Liberia. And if anybody should be in Liberia, you are right. FOL is one of those media institutions that should be there. And talking about raising funds, we will, like my friend Dennis said, I don't want to use CEO. This is now we'll do that CEO kind of thing. CEO is not somebody's name. He's Dennis, so I call him Dennis. So like Dennis said, we will reach out to you and we will appreciate whatever contribution you will make, because we are self-funded. We're not taking money from anybody to do this thing, and we do it for Liberia. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to start with my thank you so very much. We want to tell you thank you for watching, Mr. Sieh. Thank you for being here, so as to talk these things. It's always, I'm at work most of the time when you are on the hour of politics, and I try to call, but corporate America, so long you are on the clock, when you call, when nothing bad happens, they'll not look at it, right? Or if something happens, they want to investigate, and they look at the time, they say, oh, okay, you are at work. How come you are on this? So that's why, but I always, so when I have little free time or off work, I want to stop by and say thank you so much, and then join you so as to discuss these political issues. Most of the time people look at me and say, oh, what is a side? Yes, I have my own opinion. Most of the time when I'm interviewing, I reserve that so as to present the story. But if you ask me how I feel on any one of these issues, trust me, and I'll give it to you. So this week, we still have shows coming up. In fact, this evening at 6, you're going to have the Literary Hour. Professor K. Moses Nabwe and the scholar Jackie Sieh every Friday at 6 p.m. here with the Literary Hour. You don't want to mix it. You don't want to miss it. Also, every Saturday, we have FOL Marketplace presented by Gabriel Carter and Ellis Coffey, Depu Zo, and also William King. You don't want to miss our show, FOL Marketplace, every Saturday at 3. Saturday, we're going to have we're going to celebrate the life of Professor Dr. Amos Claudius Sawyer. 1 p.m., Professor K. Moses Nabwe and I will be here to host so that and invite all of you to call in and pay your tribute to our fallen former interim president. Also, on Sunday, we're going to kick off our series on the legal system of Liberia. This time on March 6th, it's going to be the introduction, overview of the Constitution and fundamental rights, or overview of the constitutional and fundamental rights. That's what we're going to be doing. The next Sunday is going to be civil justice system versus criminal justice system. Following that, we'll have the courts of Liberia, part 1, part 2, and part 3, and including the Supreme Court. Panelists, Councillor Kabina Jana, Councillor Frederick Jewe, Councillor Jerome Verdier, and Attorney Aventish Jallo. You don't want to miss that. Also, Tuesday, I'm going to have Yakasa Wei who's running to be representative of District Number 66A in Minnesota. Currently, Mr. Way will soon get his PhD, will soon be calling Dr. Way, is a city council member at Farcom Heights. You don't want to miss it. Right here on Focus on Liberia. Too much rape news going on, man. So we at Focus on Liberia want to say, please don't rape real men, don't rape women, girls, and babies. We want to join our worlds in the effort to fight against this rape epidemic. Mr. Sieh, thank you again for coming at this time. Let me get your parting comments and we're going to close the broadcast.
Yeah, Dennis, I know we always focusing on political issues in Liberia here at the Hour of Politics. In addition to doing some interviews on other issues, like we had Tama TV and Tama Corporation doing something on culture. But I am looking at a little bit of international politics on Saturday. That is the war that is ongoing in Ukraine, the Russia invasion of Ukraine. I will be looking at the political side, the geopolitical side, the power play in the war that is going on. And I hope to bring some, knowledgeable people here. It will be on Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be looking at the politics of the war in Ukraine and the economic and political impact on the entire world. Looking at players like the U.S., looking at China and other world powers that are involved with this particular conflict. You do not want to miss it. It will be analytical and it will be informative. And you can only find it here at Focus on Liberia on the Hour of Politics. Watch out for that. Again, that is Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. You don't want to miss it.
And that's the Hour of Politics going global.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss that on the Ukraine, the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Definitely, Mr. Sieh, I will be watching. Until then, from all of us here at Focus on Liberia, we say thank you so much for watching. My name is Dennis Jazz, signing up on behalf of the crew with our song that says, "We are all Liberians." Have a good and godly day.
We are Liberians.